Today on Show Us Your Dinghy, Karl shows us his Takacat.
Man, I got a big dinghy. All I ever do is smile. Lord, I got a big dinghy. All I ever do is smile. Man who's got a big dinghy can go the extra mile. You know what I'm talking about.
Hey Karl, how you doing today?
Doing good.
This is Karl. He's got a very interesting dinghy. So today we're going to show you how Karl gets around. So Karl, tell us about yourself. First off, how long you been cruising? What's your boat? Your main boat? Basically, what's your base of operation?
I have a Shipment 28. I've been cruising for on and off for about 5 years out of New York. I've had a couple boats. This is like my first really big trip, other than, you know, hanging out in South Florida or New England or whatever.
And you came down probably the intercoastal to Marathon.
I was out, I went outside and then inside to get around Hatteras.
Okay, okay.
And then I went back outside again. And I spent last season in South Florida for hurricane season, which is pretty much the worst place you can do it.
Yeah.
You know, but with COVID and stuff, I wasn't really able to leave, so I made the best of it.
I went out to the Eastern Caribbean once some years ago, and I got a big anchor because it's where the hurricanes are born, you know? And I got out there and I realized, yeah, it's where they're born. They're Category 1s.
The babies.
Florida's where they're an old man that'll kick your ass.
Exactly, yeah.
So, but then you're here in the DR, so you've sailed some real miles.
Yeah, it's been great.
You've got, I pronounced this wrong, a Takacat?
I just say Takacat, that's what it looks like to me.
Yeah,
So.
well.
I don't know if that's right or not, but it works for me. So.
It is now, a Takacat. Well, have you owned other dinghies before this one?
Yeah, I had a series of dinghies. You can't really beat like a hard bottom, which I had like a 12-foot, like an Avon, rigid inflatable when I was living in New York, which was really, really awesome. I mean, they're so fast with the hard bottom, they handle so well. But, you know, that one was destroyed and I needed a new one. But I didn't want to be towing it, because, you know, 28-foot boat, don't really have room for it. I got the wind vane in the back, I can't have davits. I don't have room on the foredeck because I got a baby stay, so pretty much left with like completely and, you know, break down inflatables that I can fold up real small. So, you know, I was looking at some of the hard pressure floor dinghies, you know, like from West Marine or whatever, and with the virus, there actually were no dinghies for sale anywhere on the East Coast. Like,
okay.
I even went to, you know, like the Zodiac dealership and stuff, and they were just, yeah, we don't have any dinghies. So I went all the way down the coast with this like really, really, really beat up like 1980s inflatable with a plywood floor. And by the time I got to South Florida, it was just completely shot. I mean, it was like a pool toy, what's it called, inner tube. Like my feet were in the water, you know, like it was, yeah, just barely. I almost had to swim to shore. Like when I got this, I called the guy, he was like in the parking lot, and I go to set up my dinghy, and it was just really clear that it wasn't gonna make it. And I flagged somebody down, and they gave me a ride into shore, and I got this. So.
Oh, got it just in time.
Yeah, it was like photo finish, really.
So you deflate it whenever you travel?
You know, if I'm like, you know, if it's a larger crossing or whatever, if I'm just, you know, hopping between islands in the Bahamas or, you know, going down Hawks Channel or something in South Florida, it's like, I'll tow it. But
I
it does all right. Yeah.
Actually tows pretty lightly in flat water.
Yeah,
light.
It's okay. Even in like, you know, like big following seas, it's pretty manageable. But, you know, like when I cross over here from Turks and Caicos or, you know, anything where either the wind's going to be like, you know, over 15 knots or I'm going to be out for a while, I always fold it up, which, you know, it folds up, you know, pretty small. You can just stow it really easily, throw it in a lazarette, which is nice. Because it doesn't have a transom. So it's just these, it's pretty much held together by these stainless bars, which is one of the reasons why it gets so small. You don't have to work around it, you know, a big piece of wood or fiberglass or whatever.
Yeah, that comes right out.
Yeah.
How much does it weigh?
I think it weighs around 75 pounds,
Okay.
maybe more, maybe less. I believe that's what it is. But so it's pretty manageable. You can just I could throw it in a backpack if I wanted to.
Well, what engine do you have on it now?
This is Mercury Mariner 2-stroke. I got it in Key Largo. It was like brand new from whatever 1992. I actually don't know the year, but it's gotten a little bit more beat up since. But it's a champ.
And I see it's an 8-horse.
Yeah.
I also, the question we always ask, but it's kind of silly on dinghies like this, does it plane? Well, obviously.
Oh yeah, yeah. It gets airborne if I hit a good wave.
What speed can you go alone?
I don't know, maybe like 10, under 15 knots, more than 10 knots, somewhere in there.
That's adequate.
Oh yeah, it's fun.
How many people have you put on it before?
It's rated for 3. I've taken 3. It's not comfortable.
Yeah.
But it's not like it's gonna sink or anything, but with people that aren't comfortable with it, it's kind of scary to them because it is designed to just take water over the bow and stuff.
Yeah.
So if it's like weighed down, like there is going to be water coming over the bow, you're going to get your shoes wet. But sometimes for the uninitiated, they're kind of like,
it's gonna sink.
But it's it can handle it.
Well, that's the other question: is it a dry ride? It sounds like it's not the driest ride.
It's pretty dry. I mean, really, if you were going to get wet in any other dinghy, you're going to get wet in this dinghy, I mean, if you're getting water over into the boat itself, like with another dinghy, you'd be like bailing. Your feet are going to be wet. With this one, there's just no bailing because it just washes straight off overboard. So
Yeah.
It's actually pretty good in really large waves and stuff where, I mean, you can just like ram right into like a big wave and just take all this water over the bow and it just washes right off like it's no big deal. So, yeah.
Well, do you have any advice for someone else thinking they might want a Takacat? Let me say it right.
The fins on the outboard are absolutely vital.
What was it like before you put the fins on?
Yeah, it just kind of nosed up and it didn't really want to get on a plane too easily. I was actually pretty disappointed with it when I got it, but put those fins on there and it pops out of the hole just right up on a plane in like a second, which is
probably
the fins
steers and more stable too, right?
Probably, yeah.
The
the fins are vital.
Before.
I would never go without the fins again. I don't think on any dinghy, but yeah.
The Takacat I tried before didn't have fins. Also, it was underpowered, as we discussed. When I got it on plane, I took it like 30 feet and took it right back.
Yeah.
It's like, I want to live. I don't want to. It felt so you get used to it, but it just didn't feel good.
It feels a little crazy when you first get in it, but now that I'm used to it,
I'm glad the fins helped that. That's good to know.
Yeah, they definitely did. Actually, the first day I got the fins, I went on like 20 miles in Key Largo. Went to pretty much every reef, like 6 miles out, just zooming around. So I'm pretty used to it now.
Yeah.
I'd take it pretty much anywhere in most conditions,
And you
tropical
said
storm, whatever.
You said earlier that the motor's a bit heavy for this. Would you recommend what does one motor weigh? It's a 2-stroke, so it's light.
I'm not totally sure what the motor weighs, but I mean it's probably around 75 pounds, which is how much the dinghy itself weighs.
Okay.
So I think it is rated for an 8-horse, but given the size of the dinghy, I don't know. I mean, it's an 8.5-foot dinghy with an 8-horsepower motor on it, so it's probably a little overkill.
Yeah. You use it alone, so would you prefer a 6 if it was lighter?
I borrowed a 6 from somebody in Coconut Grove in Miami, and it popped up on a plane really, really easily, and it was great, but more power is always more fun.
Yeah.
So.
Usually these lighter dinghies, if it gets on plane, that's how fast it's gonna go.
Yeah.
And you can put more horsepower, it really won't matter.
That's probably actually true. Like the 6 didn't plane quite as fast, but I don't feel like the 8 has that much higher of a top speed. Mm-hmm. But I mean, just getting on a plane in a second is kind of worth it. So.
Yeah.
I think it's a good boat. I would definitely suggest getting one. Like I said, it folds up really easily. It's pretty fast. I mean, it's not quite as fast as like a rigid bottom boat, but I mean, compared to the high pressure floor dinghies that you see like West Marine or whatever, I feel like it's got more performance than that. Folds up smaller. Yeah, I think it's a good boat.
I think they're pretty reasonably priced too.
Yeah, it was a little bit less than the West Marine ones, which are known to be kind of poor quality. So, yeah.
Okay. Well, nothing's perfect.
No.
What don't you like about it?
I mean, everything's a compromise, you know? You know what? I really like it. I think it's awesome.
Well, that probably answers
I think we're going to be seeing a lot of them in the future too, as they become more well known. I mean, I guess like if I gotta. Okay, here's what I don't like about it. When you slow down, there's not a lot of air up here, and when you slow down, it'll kind of nose down and it will scoop up a bunch of water.
Okay.
So you kind of gotta like. Usually, I have to shift my weight back when I'm slowing down. Or else, yeah, if I have a bag or whatever, it's going to get wet. But other than that, I think it's great.
I saw you at the dock yesterday, and there was another Takacat right beside it, but it had a different bow. Is that an older design?
His in particular is older, but they've always made the two models. They have this one, the catamaran style, and then they have the one he has is more of a traditional style dinghy. It closes up in the front. But it is very thin in the front. So it's kind of unique, I guess. But yeah, they still make that. I forget what it's called, but I think this one's called an LX. I don't remember the name of the other one.
And I guess the other thing was it was available. So
it was the only one that was available.
Yeah.
I had been kind of looking at it for a while since I tried to get one in Annapolis as well, and they didn't have any. So yeah, sometimes you got to take what you can get. And this time it worked out really good.
Well, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
We've been doing interesting dinghies. We haven't done like a high field or an AV or anything yet because you know that's like the Ford. Everybody has those.
Yeah. Maintenance? Have you had to do any repairs to it, or parts or any modifications you made to it?
I had to throw some glue in the seam here, but otherwise not really. I was thinking actually maybe one day can replace this center part with like maybe part of a longboard. Like surfboard.
Okay.
Give them more rigidity. It might be a little faster. But the other thing about these that's really cool is they're modular. So like if you hit like I don't know a rock or whatever and just destroy one of the tubes, you can actually get a new tube sent.
Okay.
Because it comes in different parts.
Tube, floor, tube. So
yeah.
3 separate areas.
Yeah.
And they lash together in the front or something. How does that connect?
It's kind of like just like a thin piece of like Hyphaon or whatever in between that holds them all together.
So the floor just wedges in and then inflates it.
Exactly.
Rigid.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you take the floor out, it kind of like just rolls up. It's really weird. But
well, I think that's about all the questions I have. Thanks so much for coming over and showing us your toy, Karl.
Cool. Thanks for having me.
Man, I got a big dinghy. All I ever do is smile. Lord, I got a big dinghy. All I ever do is smile. Man who's got a big dinghy can go the extra mile. You know what I'm talking about.
That looks like fun.